Right, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Welcome everybody here. I'm very excited for us being together. If I'm gonna do one more test before we actually get completely going here, right? If you can hear me and you can see me loud and clear without any interruption, do me a favor. Go ahead and put me number two. Go ahead and put me a number two if you can hear me loud and clear on the chat. All right, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right. Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. Now I see the cooperation of everyone. Okay, so are we live on? We are? Okay, beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and share a presentation here. Give me a second. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. You should be seeing the presentation now. So I'm gonna, we're doing something very special, ladies and gentlemen. And I know that for some of you guys that is your first time being here with me and don't know who I am, I'm gonna give you just a little bit of context, but pay very close attention because, I'm gonna take you through the journey of my darkest moments. And that's why I called it From Chapter 7 to Seven Figures in 7 Steps. That is going to basically show you how you are able to invest in real estate, in in this type of times. But better yet, whether you have experience, whether you don't have experience, whether you have capital or no capital, credit or you don't have credit, pay very close attention because let me share why. When I went bankrupt, I had to start basically all over, but I didn't start from zero. I started from below zero. So I know that what I'm going to share with you today, the 7 steps that I had to go through, guess what? You could be in zero and still make it happen because I had to start everything below zero. Does it make sense? So now that you're hearing me, I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we can all be in the same page. And you guys obviously get the knowledge that you're here to receive today, right? So just so that you get to know me a little bit, a bit about my family and myself. My wife, my 4 wonderful children on the back. And it's really amazing to see that that we do what we do because we want to provide them with a better life. So if you got a family, hey, or whether you don't have a family yet, guess what? You got to have clear what is it, why is it that you're doing it and for whom is it that you're doing it with. So one more check because I just received here, I just noticed here that can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Please press number three. Number three, if you guys can hear me, go ahead and let me know if you can hear me. Please. All right, excellent. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue right there so you have a little bit of context of who in the heck is this. Continue here, a bit about my results so that you know why in the heck should I supposed to be hearing to this for the next, 5 to 6 hours. No, I'm just, it's not gonna be 5 to 6 hours, okay? I promise you it's gonna be prompt the next 30 to 35.
Everyone's still here. I can see you now again.
Can you guys hear me now again? I apologize. Somehow, we went literally. Okay, awesome. If you can hear me and see me, please press number 4. Number 4 on the chat. Just give me a number 4 heads up right there. Beautiful. Appreciate it, guys and girls. Hey, my apologies. Something happened weird with the, internet system here. So now that you're seeing me again, let's go straight at it. Hey, you know what's happening? I know can you check on Facebook that, we're live as well? What's happening is that we got so much freaking energy and wisdom that we're going to be sharing to you that literally even the internet went out on us. Okay, so hopefully we're back again here, and let's get to it, because we got to cover. So anyways, before I even proceed, I want to make sure that from wherever you are, make sure that you obviously put your phone on vibrator, or make sure that you completely disconnect from the email, from the social media. Make sure that you do give yourself a completely full attention for the next 30 to 35 minutes, because like I said, the next 30 to 35 minutes could literally change your next 30 to 35 years, depending on if you're really focused and concentrated, and if you seriously are ready for a better year, for a better 2020. And regardless of all the turmoil, of everything that we know that is happening around the world, at the end is the attitude, the mindset that you develop about things. So, and come with an open heart and an open mind, in a very simple, humble heart as well, because I will tell you this much: if you're here to criticize, you will find a lot of things to criticize about. But if you're here to, become a better human being, and to, become successful, I can promise you, you will also find that here, in the next few minutes, right? So, let me just share very briefly about results that I've had. And this is not to give myself a pat on the back. There's no reason for it. The only reason why I share it is because I want you to know, why in the heck would you be listening to me for the next 30 minutes, right? So founded 4 restaurants and sold them successfully, throughout my career, my business career. Built a real estate portfolio worth of $25 million by the age of 26, and lost it in 2009. Now, you're going to get it straight from the mouth source, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you things. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, of what I've gone through. The reason, it's because I believe that people out there, they're hungry for the truth. And oftentimes we live in an environment where literally, that's not what we get, especially not from the news, not from all the social media that is happening out there. I lost everything, to the point where I went not only bankrupt, but I had to go into unemployment. And on top of it, I was actually at the food bank collecting food. And, to a degree, it was embarrassing, because at one point, after, having over $25 million in paper assets, and, driving nice cars and things like that, and losing it all, it was devastating. But guess what? I got depressed for a little bit, and, got to basically start all over, and, this time doing it wiser than ever before. And that's why I know that I can help you achieve success, because I've been, in zero, below zero, and on the depression mode, and having to basically pull myself back up from it. All right. Built an MLM organization, over 30,000 members, with a 7-figure net income, right after after getting myself back up. This is actually in chronological order, by the way. Founder of Rico Life, and a direct selling company that was sold publicly, to a publicly traded company for several million dollars. Founder of Properties 180, with assets over $30 million. What it took us 10 years to build and lose, it took us less than 4 years to basically not only bring it back up, but even stronger. And today, founder of RaulLunaAcademy.com, where we teach other people how to successfully invest in real estate, like you're here with me today. Okay, so enough about that. I just want to make sure that you understand here quickly a legal disclaimer. Real estate involves risk, ladies and gentlemen. You can make a lot of money, and you could lose a lot of money, especially when you don't, follow the success principles. And I just wanted for you to know that. But at the same time, if you learn correctly and you're willing to apply yourself, guess what? You're going to be able to, kick some butt, and be able to thrive in the real estate atmosphere. Okay. Now, why is it that we, who we are, and why do we give away a lot of our knowledge? Well, simply put, we're firm believers in abundance, in abundance in the world, and in coming from a place of contribution, So, we literally tried the scarcity mode, and one of the things is that it wasn't working for us. So we have reaped abundant benefits as a result of this belief. We have attracted private money lenders, contractors, wholesalers, realtors, host of valuable contacts sharing our knowledge. And today we share it openly because we believe that if I empower other people, guess what's going to happen? The universe will come back and is not we don't have a selfish universe. So you know how it goes, right? Whatever you put out there is whatever you're going to get back. I'm going to be sharing, like, for instance, most of our deals happens from referral networks, realtors, and direct mail, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Just so that you guys know, a lot of it comes from direct mail, although lately, the realtors and the wholesaler, the realtors and the referral networks are really pumping some really great numbers. So I just wanted to, share exactly what that, where is it that they're coming. I'm going to share some numbers and stats from our direct mail campaigns, because I think it's important for you guys to kind of get to experience exactly what's happening in that world. Now, what is a direct mail for the ones that don't know? Well, direct mail is a letter that you either handwrite or that you pay a third-party company to send out to a very specific owner, property owner, that you, in simple words, you're just saying, hey, listen, I'm interested in buying your property. Call me if you're interested. So, we do 10,000 letters, and the 10,000 letters that we, have done, this is exactly what we get out of it. All right. For instance, we get around about a 1%, 1% of the mail that we sent out, we get it back in calls. So in 10,000 letters, we get about 100 calls, and this is per week. Okay, by the way, this is per week. About 80 of them are removals. 10 of them are people that wants to sell, but they want the highest price possible. And around about 10 really are open to sell it at a discount. And out of those 10, maybe one or two end up being in a deal. And that one or two makes up for whatever the cost, basically, of that deal, that had to go through, right? So, it's about 57 and a half per, cents per letter that we sent out. So these are the numbers, and we're clearly, stating it out there. It cost us about $21,000 to acquire a property, and you'll see some of the case studies that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this webinar today. And the interesting thing is, the question that I would make to you, and go ahead and be very interactive with me, because that's the whole point. In different areas, direct mail works differently. Okay, different areas. I'll give you an example. Central Valley, where I am, the acquisition cost is way, way low. I'm giving you the numbers of the Bay Area, of the Silicon Valley, of the, high tech area, of the most higher cost living area. When I was doing heavy direct mail in the Central Valley, my acquisition cost was about $7,000 per property that I would buy. But let me ask you this question, and give me an answer, please, on the chat. Okay, because I'll tell you this much. It takes energy to learn. And the energy that you put here with me in this webinar, it's how much you're going to be learning back, because it's the same energy that I'm going to be able to put back to you. Okay, so pay close attention to this. If you were to make $100,000 profit, let's just say, and I'm just making up a number, $100,000 profit, but it costs you $21,000 to acquire that deal. Would you give $21,000 to make $100,000? Put me, please, on number 5. Number 5 on the chat. If you would give $21,000 for a $100,000 profit, go ahead and put it on the chat. All right, excellent, beautiful. In other words, would you be willing to put $1 to make $5? So would you invest $1 to get $5 back? Why not, right? Makes absolute sense. People ask me, does direct mail work? I say, yes, it does. As well as real estate agents, building a relationship with them also works. So anyways, these numbers are Bay Area numbers, where the average house is right around about $1.2 to $1.5 million. In other areas of lower cost, the numbers are even better. All right. So I just wanted for you to know that ahead of time. I'm going to show you a case study here from Castro Street, San Leandro, California, that we did. In this one, if you notice, came from direct mail. Okay, direct mail. The owner reached out to us. He was one of those 10 that said, hey, we're ready. We would like to sell. And, we bought this property in San Leandro for $225,000. Just so that you know a little bit of the background of the seller, it was an inheritance. The gentleman had just recently inherited from his hoarder family, and you'll see the pictures here in a moment. House was in complete, distress situation. It was an out of area seller. So for the seller, it was more of a burden than anything else. And you'll see the before pictures. This is exactly how I found. Now, this pictures is how I found the property. This is now how they used to live in the property, because they sort of clean it out. The seller told me, Raul, I need about a week to 2 weeks to clean it out before you come. I said, it's not an issue. I could go and see the property the way you have it. He says, no, it's embarrassing. And this is exactly how I found it. So you tell me, probably they did clean it. This lets me to believe that it was in actually worse condition than what you're seeing right now. But this is how they cleaned it. And it went from being, obviously a nasty situation to literally, cleaning it all out. This property, we still hold this property because we decided to keep it for about a year or two and then completely sell it so that we can actually exchange it for a bigger property. So you could see right away that very little changes, we were able to make some big transformation and improvement. But this is the numbers, even until today. As a matter of fact, I'm refinancing this property as we speak, and we're pulling as much cash as we can. And it's interesting because we decided once again to keep it. But look at the numbers. The exit strategy is to buy it, to renovate, to cash flow it, and then to do a 1031 exchange. Now, mind it, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm going to be speaking, okay? I'm going to be speaking real estate language here that some of you guys may not completely understand. And don't worry. Don't get frustrated. Don't get impatient. You're not going to learn everything in one webinar. It's not going to happen overnight where all of a sudden there's a chip and then all of a sudden something magical happens, right? But one thing I will tell you is the following. I will make sure that I will share with you in a way, because I'm, being a simple guy that was raised in a farm town, if a farm boy from a farm town is investing in real estate, trust me, you will not be able to sell me the idea of why you can't, okay? There's no excuse that it's a valid excuse, for why is it that you can't invest in real estate. Anyways, we bought it for 225. The ARV, which stands for after repair value, after we repair it, if we decide to sell it, it's actually higher right now, but let's just put it for 575. We spent about $10,000 to cleaning it all out, painting it. Now, obviously, the difference is, closing cost and, holding cost and, things like that. The profit, you could see the profit. But this is the interesting thing. What's interesting is we did it with no money out of our pocket, literally zero out of Raul Luna's pocket, no money from my own income. So that's powerful. If you see, we did 2 loans. We did a first loan and a second loan. And that's exactly what we teach. What we teach is if you buy freaking awesome, great real estate deals, then you shouldn't be needing money of your own. Now, if you got money, that's a whole different thing. The way I teach is you could be in bankruptcy. You could have completely bad credit. You could be on a freaking budget with no experience and literally be able to start investing in real estate. Now, the building that we're in right now, I bought it right after I was bankrupt. So proof it's in the pudding that what I'm actually sharing, it's really how we started. We started basically from below zero, like I said. So anyways, this is just in a nutshell, basically what's, on this property. All right, now let's continue here. We got Portola Meadows Drive. This is another property. As a matter of fact, this is not San Leandro. This is actually, I made a mistake right here. It's actually Livermore, California. This one came from a realtor, just so that you guys know. From building relationships with realtors, and guess what? It got purchased or it got under contract for $500,000. And just so that you know a little bit of the background on the seller. Long-term owner, okay? Long-term owner looking to retire. Once again, hoarder owner, light deferred maintenance. Now, this is a townhouse. And the difference, in this case, that is not a house, but a townhouse, usually the community is well kept from the outside because it's part of, is not, it's part of the, obviously the common area maintenance and the, regulations that, townhouses actually build so that they make sure that, is not a responsibility of the owner. So this is the townhouse that you're seeing here from the outside, really, really nice, well taken care of. But the inside, once again, this is already after they cleaned it. This was all the way almost up to the roof. The very first time that I was there, these pictures were actually taken after the fact. And you can see that it's very deferred maintenance, like super light compared to the other one. But then this one, literally, the after pictures is exactly the same thing. There's a reason why, because this is a strategy that I used that is called wholesale strategy. And you can see it here, wholesale. What does wholesale is? Wholesale is when you buy low and sell low. In other words, when you put it under contract and you didn't sell the contract, when you put it under contract, you don't sell the property, you sell the contract. You assign the agreement to another real estate investor or to the end buyer. In this case, we put it under contract, and wholesaled it to another real estate investor. We put it under contract for 500,000. We assigned it for 600, which means that the profit was obviously pretty awesome, right? Now, no money from my pocket, no money on anything, because I didn't close on the transaction. It was, remember, wholesaling means you put it under contract, you then assign that contract to the next buyer, okay? Which means I didn't need it to get any loans on the first position, second position, didn't require any loans, any closing costs, anything. That had to be paid by basically the next real estate investor buyer, okay? Now, if you understood this section, do me a favor so that I make sure that you understood the wholesaling section. Leave me a number 7 right now. Please put me a number 7 on the chat just so that I know that you actually got the concept of wholesaling, okay? Got the concept of wholesaling. All right, excellent. All right, beautiful. Now, having that said, all right, let's continue here. So now we got the 18th Avenue in San Francisco. This property came also from a realtor from the MLS. It's a 4-unit building, okay, that we purchased for $1.7 million, okay? And the background, just so that you know the background a little bit of the seller, once again, getting ready to retire. Do you notice a pattern? Do you notice a pattern that on all the case studies that I've actually shared is from people that are really they either inherited and they're looking to retire, or they're the actual current owners that haven't inherited the property, but they're wanting to retire, right? So very, it was very poorly rented, as well as, there was some protected tenants there where we worked it out in such a way that the tenants ended up, vacating very happily because we made a package with them that it was a win-win situation. So anyways, this is the before pictures, okay, just so you have an idea. This is the before pictures. If you notice, it's got 3 floors, but it's got parking space for every single unit. So one car garage. So there's 2 car garage, but they're both for 2 cars each, which you're able to fit really 4. So it's 1 for each unit. This is exactly the floor plan, ladies and gentlemen, on how it was. If you notice, it was only 1 bedroom, 1 bath, the kitchen, and the living room. That's it. And they were exactly same size, exactly mirror image, exactly the same. And and so that was the 2nd floor. This is the 3rd floor, exactly the same. Now, these were exactly the conditions that we bought it in. It was in livable condition, but it was outdated. The bathroom, the kitchen, you could see that it was outdated. Now let's check the after pictures. If you notice, just on the outside, there were 7 different colors. All we did through the outside, it was played with colors. And, obviously we did some color selection that my wife Rosie did, and worked the magic. On the inside, she went with a very special design. I really love how it actually ended up becoming. But the interesting thing is that we did it, we actually did it from 1 bedroom, 1 bath to making it into a 2 bedroom, 2 bath by simply moving 2 walls, ladies and gentlemen. Just we moved 2 walls, and basically that made the whole change here. The after pictures on the bathrooms, the before, I'm sorry, and then the after pictures, the before and after here. Anyways, I'll show you what, 2 walls, and then we decided to put an additional bathroom and brought in the washer and dryer, the laundry section inside of each unit. So watch this. This is the before. If you notice, this wall, we moved it here. So if you notice, I'm gonna bring it here, and this wall used to be here. We moved it here, and then this wall, we moved it a little bit here, just a little bit, okay, and created this master bathroom, and boom, and then the washer dryer hookups here. So everything became incorporated. So from 1-1, to 2-2, that created a true value into this situation. And I think, and we exactly did what we did with one, we did with the rest. Okay, the numbers really got improved dramatically, and you'll be able to see it here. So we bought it to redevelop and resell. We bought it for 1.7. We sold it for 3.5, and we did it. I know that the numbers may sound super huge. If you're not used to dealing with numbers like we do in the Bay Area, don't get scared, because I'll tell you, it could have been $170,000 and selling it for $350,000. So it could be that too. We see a lot of that in the Central Valley. So, but this is the actual numbers. But put aside the profits, because I know that for some people they're life-changing profits. But you know what's so cool about it? We did it with none of my money. And that's the key here. The key element is being able to invest in real estate. How do you do it? Like when you're broke, or when you don't have credit, or when you don't have, for instance, a big, bags of money, or when you don't have, full pockets of, of the green. How did you in the heck do it? Well, that's exactly what, I developed. I developed a system to be able to, to be able to invest like this, because to my own thinking, if the deal is so great, you better support, all the loans that are needed in order for the deal to succeed. Now, this is the 7 steps, and this is the time where, I want to take really some great time to make sure that you understand this. This is the base, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm sharing today is truly the base, and then I got some great surprises towards the end. Okay, great surprises that I'm gonna, be giving away to you. So make sure that you stay all the way to the end, because I'm gonna be giving you some amazing surprises that you're gonna be able to obviously get for absolutely free. Okay, so 7-step formula, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly the 7 steps that I followed in order to, make it a winnable game. In my case, if you follow it, you'll be able to, experience your own, obviously your own winning results, however is it that you want to apply them. But these are the 7 things, okay? The 7-step formula: the why, the goal, the plan, the mindset, the formula of CMF, and you're going to learn what it is, the mentor, and CME. 7 steps that I went through that literally took me from being below zero to basically where we are here today, all right? And we're gonna go ahead and get started. Define your why, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing my why right here. My why is my family. I wanted it to make sure that I would give them a great lifestyle, that I would be with them, that I would have time to spend together and be able to, be able to grow together and mentor them, and not do what happened with me. I remember being raised without a father, even though I had a father, because he was not only extremely busy working, but he was honestly working for a paycheck and didn't have time for us. Well, you got to define your why. If your why doesn't make you cry, then you better change it, because you're seeing my why. I love having great time with them, and exploring and traveling, and doing some amazing things together. The other day we were working on a vision board, and hey, that's originally the reason why we started what we started. We love to have fun. We love to be in the family environment. We love being with friends. We're spiritual beings. We have faith, freedom, and we want every day to be Friday. For many people, uh, Monday is not a Friday for them. And the question is, why not? Why not? And real estate has allowed that for us, and I know that it could allow that for you guys. So hey, this is where straight F's really means something. In school, it means something bad. In true life, straight F's means something good. Fun, family, friends, faith, freedom, and Friday. Isn't it? They go along with each other, like they truly do. And guess what? Every day should be Friday if you're doing the right things and if you're really paying close attention to it. You should have the freedom. And if you don't, we're going to show you how you're going to be able to do it. The faith, hey, you got to believe. You got to believe in yourself. You got to know that you are capable to doing some great things. Having great, amazing friends that you get to develop. Catering to your family. If you don't have kids yet, well, maybe your parents, if not cousins, if not, someone that you may consider as a family, and having fun. Okay, that is truly my why, and hopefully you get to spend time. If you don't have it, invest time on having it, because I'll tell you this much: if you don't know exactly what your why is, then I can tell you that you may have some wins, you may hit the ball and get some home runs, but you're not going to be fulfilled at the end of the day. So that's my why. You search for your why, and you will eventually get to the high the high speed lane or the carpool lane. All right, so have clear goals, ladies and gentlemen. Have clear goals. I had a goal after I went bankrupt and literally crashed myself. Guess what? The goal at the time was $1 million. Shouldn't, that not necessarily has to be your goal. That was my goal then. Now, I'll tell you this much: you got to set the goal, because the human being studies show that human beings that have progress, and they don't have to be in the millions, but as long as you have progress, you're the happiest. You're the happiest human being when you're actually making advancements. And guess what? But when you have clear goals, you got something that you're working towards it. In this case, I'm sharing the journey. I'm sharing what that is and how I actually got it, because what I'm about to give you towards the end of the webinar, it's really, this is the basis so that we can go to phase 2 that I'm going to share with you. And guess what? You're going to have a blast of a time. At least we're going to have a blast of a time together. Okay. So the goal was to hit 1 million. Now, 1 million net. Now, in order for me to do that, I would have to be at a 1.750 million because of the overhead. I'm not alone. I got team members in the company, and I needed marketing costs and you name it, insurance and things like that. So the operations, it was right around about 3/4. So guess what? When you have clarity, you will gain speed. When you have clarity, you will be powerful. Okay, it gives you power. Clarity gives you focus, and is nothing more than a mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mindset game. And you may not know this yet, but I'll tell you this much. Success in life, a lot of it is going to come, honestly, from you developing the inner mindset that you've been, having all this time. You're going to have to get to working yourself. That's why clarity gives you power. Clarity gives you focus, and it gives you speed. Oftentimes you would, and you can do this. You could actually go out there and ask people, what are your goals? And do you have them in writing? And most often than not, they don't, if they have them, they don't have them in writing. And studies has shown that less than 3% of people actually have their goals in writing, and they have clear goals. No wonder 3% or less are the population around the world that have some great success. So hopefully you have that, and if not, this is the time to do it. All right, because once again, this is the foundation, ladies and gentlemen, for what I'm going to be continuing to teach you and share with you. And I want to make sure that you are set for success if you're really serious. Right, have a plan. In my case, I developed 4 different plans. I said, listen, we can do 50 deals in the entire deal, in the entire year, with profits of around about $35,000, and that equates to about 4 to 5 deals per month. Or we can do 18 deals, in a year with profits of 100,000, or 7 deals with profits of 250, or 1 deal of profits of 1.750. See, all of those 4 maps or plans takes me to where I'm headed. Guess which one? Guess which one I decided to embark based on my belief back then. Can you guys let me know? Put it on the chat. Do you think that I went for the 50 deals, for the 18 deals, for the 7 deals, or the 1 deal? Go ahead and share it down below, please, on the chat. Let's see what do you think that I actually did? Jose said 50. Okay. 18. 1. Let me tell you, at the time, my belief at the time, it was not with doing 1 deal that would make me profits of 1.750. It wasn't even 7. I couldn't believe the 1 deal for sure, or the 7. It was more into the 18 and 50, so I decided to go to the 50. Why? Because my belief level was low. And guess what? It's all okay. We got to start where we are, right? And that's how I started. So I decided to go with a 50. And who would have thought, that a lot of things change along the way? You saw the case studies. You saw the level of potential profits that you could do. But the reality of everything is you're going to start where you believe, and it's all okay. It's all fine, as long as you start. Because if you don't, then your belief will never change until you actually start getting some feedback. Okay, so continue with the plan. What are the 5 most profitable daily activities that I should be focused on a day-to-day basis? Okay, now listen to this. This is a very simple activity that if you pay very close attention to, many people skip it because they think that it's so simple that it doesn't make any sense to them. And one thing I will tell you straight flat out is absolutely a myth. Simplicity can give you extreme results if you believe in them. This is exactly what I do on a daily basis. The very first thing that I ask myself, what are the 5 things that I should be focusing on a day in, day out basis, that produces the most outcome, to achieve my goals. And for me, this is what it is. Now you're going to have to define yours. For instance, number 1, identify and create deals. In other words, searching and looking and creating real estate deals in the market. Number 2, submitting offers and doing follow-ups with real estate agents, with real estate investors, with property owners. Number 3, exposure and creating relationships. Like for instance, this webinar today. Some of you guys know me. Some of you guys are new to this webinar, and guess what? We're going to get to hopefully know each other. So exposure and creating creating relationships. Okay, that's the number 3. Number 4, raising capital and structuring deals. Okay. Number 5, recruiting and training team members. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my 5 things that will get me to my goals. Well, guess what? You got to identify your own 5. Okay, it's like the 5. The 5 action rule is find the 5 actions that you should be doing every single day. A lot of people are doing activities that are not getting them to their goals, and yet they still wonder, why is it that I'm not getting to those goals? And the reality is the secret lies into this 5 most profitable daily activities. In this case, for me, guess what? For you, it's going to change a little bit, but I can almost assure you that if you're looking to start as a real estate investor, they're going to look pretty close. All right. Anyways, develop a millionaire mindset. You got to develop, even, Mr. Bob Proctor said, something that really got stuck into my head. He said, you should make yourself a millionaire goal, not because of the money that you'll make, but because of who you become in the process to getting there. And I believe that. I believe that when you're aiming high in life, is not about the end result alone. Yes, it is part of it, but it's not the only thing of it. It's who you become in that process. So it's not just the income, it's the become. Okay. Now, develop a millionaire mindset by how? By choosing your environment. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I first started, guess what? My environment wasn't the best environment. It wasn't the richest environment. It was an environment of a lot of people basically trying to pull me down. And I had to choose my environment consciously, purposely. So I know that you're going to have to do the same thing by changing your beliefs. There's beliefs. Why do you think that I started investing, on going to do 50 deals in a year versus trying to doing it with, less deals? Because my belief level was at the time, hey, I can do a deal where I can make, 20 grand or 30 grand or something like that, until guess what happened? Until I actually saw someone that was successfully doing bigger deals, and then everything changed. Why did it change? Because I changed my environment, and my environment changed my beliefs. And my beliefs, guess what, was changing and replacing my bad habits. Literally, the environment changed my beliefs. The beliefs started changing my bad habits. And that's how I ended up basically working my way out. Okay. So now CMF, ladies and gentlemen, the word says it, put in simple: constant, massive focus. You must have constant, massive focus. We live in a world that is full of distractions, from the television to the news to the social media to you name it. I'm part of that world. And I can tell you that, if you're not, sincerely, if you're a consumer and you're not an investor, you will be broke a good portion of your life. And I can tell you that sincerely, because oftentimes, we're consuming more bad information out there, that we're not investing in ourselves, or investing in, first ourselves, and then second in our business, so that we can grow it. I'm pretty sure you're different. That's why you're here today, when you could have been doing anything else, right? So CMF, the formula, or it's constant, massive focus. Learn to be completely focused. Like if you're racing, because we're all racing, not like if you're racing, we're all racing. The question is, are you in a race 360 or on a race 180? Because the race 360 is what majority of the people are doing, is the famous rat race. The race 360 is the one that you think that you're making progress, but the day that you stop, you're actually in the same place. And the race 180, the race 180 is actually from point A to point B. That's the one that takes you from point B to point C, from point C to point D. Why? Because you're doing it at 180 degrees at a time. So, but that's going to require, honestly, that you remain focused in an environment that is full of distractions. Mastermind with other high-level players. Get together with other people that are really playing at a higher level, like what we're doing here in this webinars in the academy, right? Your success bubble. You've got to create, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things that I do in order for me to be able to remain focused is I create my own success bubble. And what is that? There's a phrase that I learned many, many years ago, about a decade ago to be exact, that goes like this, like what you see on the screen. I'm so happy and grateful now that, you fill in the blank. I'm so happy and grateful now that I donate to my church. Or I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a 7-figure earner. Or I'm so happy and grateful now that I get to travel to Italy. Whatever it is, whatever it is to you, and guess what? That's what I mean by creating your success bubble. I know that you've heard the cliche of, the best way to predict your future is by creating it. And how you create it? Precisely by declaring it, by believing it, by changing your environment, by changing your habits, and then everything comes into, a phenomenal great outcome, right? So I've been doing this for the past decade. And I know that being 20 years in the real estate industry, I can tell you this much. The first 10, I messed it up really, really bad. The first 10 years, I messed it up extremely bad. The second 10 years, I decided that it was going to be of massive change. We're in 2020, we're in year 2020. And for some, this year will be the worst year of their lives. And for others, it's going to be their best year of their lives. How can you possibly think that in the same year we can see winners and losers like any other year? But it is more apparent in turbulent times, in times of uncertainty, that you get to see that obviously disparity. But the reality is that every year happens. The question is, which side are you going to be in? Because hopefully you want 2020 to be the best year of your life. And I'm pretty sure that it can, even when we have half a year already gone, right? Now, you got to have a mentor, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you look up to that achieved what you want, that you can model them? Listen, I didn't say copy them, but that you can model them. Now, I certainly have a mentor, and I've been mentored by many. And I started with mentors by books from people that were dead, like Napoleon Hill, the loss of success. Hey, he's not alive anymore, but yet he has had an impact in my life. And guess what? At the beginning, the mentor may not be someone that maybe is right there in front of you and they're making the phone calls to you, but it could be a book, it could be a webinar, it could be, a person that you get to follow on social media and things like that. All right. Now, last but not least, constant massive execution. Listen, CME stands for constant massive execution. I oftentimes see people putting the execution, but not being constant. And I often see people doing massive execution, but once again, not being constant. And in times, listen to what I'm going to say, in turbulent times, in uncertainty times, in times of doubt, this couldn't be more relevant than ever before. If you start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, then guess what? You're a stopper starter. Then you're going to have the same results, right? The same results. Guess what? Constant massive execution. Even when you're not having the results, and when you're having it, even continuing with that. Now, this is a guy that lost his shirt off. And I'm telling you this, you don't have to listen if you don't want. You don't have to do it if you don't want. I'm just sharing it from my heart that it works. Now, it will only work if you work it. Now, I got a very special invitation. And by the way, I'm not going to, the special invitation is something super great that I want to give you from my heart, but I only got 2 asks, okay? And it's not about money, okay? But I'm going to make you this very special invitation. But before I do, let me ask you this. Before I do, leave me a number 8 on the chat right now if you actually, if you if you had takeaways or epiphanies, or if you took something from today's webinar. Can you put me a number 8 on the chat if you actually took some great content from the webinar here today? All right, let me know. Put me a number 8, number 8, number 8. Okay, excellent. So for the next, for the other people, okay, beautiful. All right, excellent. All right, beautiful, excellent. So this is what I got. For the ones that actually that obviously took some great content and wisdom here. This is what I got for you. But I got 2 simple asks. I'm going to share what those asks are. And what I'm going to do is I got a very special invitation for a real estate secret webinar next week. I'm doing a webinar just like this one, but this one it's literally geared to real estate secrets that I personally have not only applied, but that my students have applied, and it's working extremely, extremely well. Real estate secrets that you're going to be able to implement, and you're going to be able, this is the base. That's why I wanted to start with the base, because if we don't do the base, then I can show you the rest, and nothing's, major's truly going to happen. If you don't have the foundation, how can you put the actual walls, right? So what I'm going to be sharing, all right, is some of the secrets are the following that I'm actually sharing here on the screen. How to win big in turbulent times, even if you're new and on a tight budget. Okay, doesn't matter if you're on a freaking tight budget, you're completely new. It's turbulent times, the worst times. I'm going to show you precisely. Okay, these are some of the secrets that we're going to obviously be covering. Why now is the best time to invest in real estate, no matter what the news or public opinion says. We're going to be covering like how to build long-term lasting wealth faster and simpler than ever before, even when you think that you've seen it all. All right. I got two simple asks, and it's not money. It's not to pull your credit card, and it's not for you to go ahead and pay for a program. I only got two simple asks for you to gain access to my next webinar for free at no cost. Okay, absolutely free, that you're going to be able to attend. But I'm only, I only got two of those simple asks. So hopefully you could do it, and I'm going to obviously give you the webinar absolutely free. And the first one is I'm going to be running a challenge, but I'm only going to be doing it for qualified people. Okay. And this is a real estate challenge where I'm going to be basically teaching it for 5 days. And if you want to be considered for the challenge, guess what? All you got to do is go ahead and text, okay, the keyword challenge that you're seeing on the screen at the following number, which is 833, okay, 632-0479. It is my number, okay? Go ahead and text a challenge to that number so that basically we can consider you for the challenge that we're going to be obviously talking about. Now, I will be sharing more into the next webinar, but the reality is this: make sure that you text the keyword challenge, and there's no guarantee. I don't want you to get mad at me if we don't consider you, but if you're really serious about it, go ahead and put the keyword challenge in the following number. Okay, that's ask number one. Ask number two, okay, it's follow me on social media. Simple. Just go to my channels, either Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and just basically follow me. You do those two things, I'll literally give you access to the next webinar absolutely free. I am gonna, it's gonna be at least about around a 90-minute, longer webinar than this one, because there's a lot to cover together. So, and if you want to be a part of a challenge, I'm going to be talking about that challenge then. I will only give you access though to that webinar if you basically text the word challenge at 833-632-0479. All right. So anyways, basically that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you took away a lot of great things, like the 7 steps. Those 7 steps are the foundation. Everything else that I'm going to share with you are like the walls, are like the ceilings, are like, the roof of the house, the rest of a property. But this is needed first. This is critical first. So hopefully, obviously, you put it into practice, okay? Grab one thing or two things. One of the things that I can, and I want to leave you with this, all right? I want to leave you with this. Oftentimes I hear people that they either read something or took a webinar or whatever, and I'll tell you what's going to make the biggest difference. Whenever you read, or whenever you take a course, or whenever you are actually taking a webinar, grab one thing or two and put it into an immediate action. But that action, remember, okay, constant, massive execution. You got to do it. If you don't, you're missing out big time, hugely. So hopefully, you're obviously paying close attention and put it into practice. 1 to 2 things that you learned from today's webinar, go out there and put it into practice right away. If you don't, then it's just another day and it's just another 50 cents. It's just another day that went by. So hopefully you're not that type of people. That's why you're here with me today, right? So anyways, go ahead and text me the word challenge on 833-632-0479. And I'm going to go ahead and follow me on social media. And guess what? I'm going to give you access to the Real Estate Secrets for Turbulent Times webinar that I'm going to be conducting early next week. All right. Anyways, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with me here today. Hopefully you took some great content out of it. I want to give you a virtual hug from wherever you are. And always remember that you're one freaking real estate deal away from changing your financial landscape. Get to see you next time. Thank you very much.